The book of Job is a really fantastic book. It can be difficult to read at times, but when you are going through a horrible trial, Job will be the easiest thing you have ever read. Job is the story of a very rich man who loses everything. He is so good and wonderful and loves God so much and obeys him that at one point we get a glimpse into heaven and we get to see some of the things that happen in heaven. It says, "In the land of Uz there lived a man whose name was Job. This man was blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters. He owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, blah, 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 blah. He was the greatest man among all the people of the East." On the day the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them, the Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming through the earth and going back and forth in it." Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil." "Does Job fear God for nothing?" Satan replied. "Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands so that his flocks and herds are spread throughout the land. But stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face." The Lord said to Satan, "Very well then, everything he has is in your hands, but on the man himself do not lay a finger." So then Satan goes and kills all of Job's children in a building that collapses, takes away all of his possessions, and he's left with nothing but his wife. As he receives this news, at this Job got up and tore his robe and shaved his head. Then he fell to the ground in worship and said, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised." In all this, Job did not sin by charging God with wrongdoing. Then in chapter 2, we see another test. On another day, the angels came to present themselves before God, and Satan also came with him to present himself before him. And the Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming throughout the earth and going back and forth in it." And they have basically the same discussion, and Satan says, "Skin for skin," Satan replied. "A man will give all he has for his own life, but stretch out your hand and strike his flesh and bones, and he will surely curse you to your face." The Lord said to Satan, "Very well then, he is in your hands, but you must spare his life." So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and afflicted Job with painful sores from the soles of his feet to the top of his head. Then Job took a piece of broken pottery and scraped himself with it as he sat among the ashes. His wife said to him, "Are you still holding on to your integrity? Curse God and die." He replied, "You are talking like a foolish woman. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble?" In all this, Job did not sin in what he said. Well, then Job has 3 friends that come and try to console him, and they console him by saying, "You're obviously a sinner who deserves more than this. You deserve to die. You're not blameless. There's something that you have done that has caused this calamity on him." And at the end, God comes to Job's rescue. And he chastises all the 3 friends and tells them, "Look, you don't know what you're talking about." Job's actually a pretty awesome guy. He, in the very end, says, "The Lord blessed the latter part of Job's life more than the first. He had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 donkeys. He also had 7 sons and 3 daughters. The first daughter he named Jemimah, the second Kiza, and the third Keren Hapuch. Nowhere in the land were there found women as beautiful as Job's daughter and their daughters, and their father granted them an inheritance along with their brothers." After this, Job lived 140 years. He saw his children and their children to the 4th generation, and so he died old and full of years.